Okay, guys, my name's Allan James and I'm the channel manager at Eureka. So I have the relationship between business partners and Eureka development and deployment, I guess. I've got a short agenda to go through. Point one is what is Cloud Data Exchange. Then we'll look at our objectives when designing the product, where we are today with Cloud Data Exchange and where we want to be in the future. We'll do a Cloud Data Exchange demo, and we'll look at the core differences between Data Exchange, the on-premise, the Data Exchange most business partners know, and Cloud Data Exchange, and then I'll take questions and answers. So Cloud Data Exchange is an iPaaS, which is a relatively new buzzword. So in order to meet the growing needs for secure and reliable cloud integration solutions, Eureka Solutions have designed, developed, and now deliver integration services known as Integration Platform as a Service. It's a platform, it's not a product, it's a platform that offers lots of options for integration. So 5 years ago, we decided that we needed to look to upgrade our data exchange product. CSV file integration, XML file integration is now old technology. We had to look for an API integration solution as a service. During our design, we had three core objectives. Data exchange had to be cloud-based and it had to be secure. We opted for the Google App Engine, which is the Google platform to operate Cloud Data Exchange on, predominantly down to the security, as it encrypts the data when it flies through the ether. People like PayPal, YouTube, Pizza Hut, Bloomberg use the Google App Engine, as many other corporates do, because of its security. Objective number two was to be platform independent. Everyone on the call at the moment are all Sage 200 partners. Cloud Data Exchange has connectors for Sage 200 Professional and Sage 200 Standard. We have connectors for Sage 50, Xero, QuickBooks, NetSuite, and we'll be adding to these accounting stroke ERP solutions as we grow. We have integrations for Salesforce, Magento, WooCommerce, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, BigCommerce, VisualSoft, and others you will see when we get to the product. We are building a portfolio of connectors to allow our customers to integrate multiple systems. And objective number three was for Cloud Data Exchange to be scalable. We have many data exchange sites in the UK and Ireland and further afield. But we have noted recently that the larger sites with larger amounts of transactions does become a memory issue within certain systems. Cloud Data Exchange, being a cloud-based system, negates any memory issues whatsoever. We have small Sage 50 businesses processing thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of transactions per month, as well as some 200 clients processing in excess of 500,000 transactions per month. And we had one NetSuite client back in November who actually had 1 million transactions in a month. We don't see any issues with levels of transactions or sizes of data files. The Google platform is huge, and Data Exchange operates on that platform. Today, we have 140 plus live sites of Cloud Data Exchange, with around 20 or so in working process, being project managed, being delivered, or in the process of being project managed. The product is selling well for us through the channel and as a direct business through our own customer base. We have currently around 4 million transactions going through the system on a monthly basis and growing fast. Let's have a look at Cloud Data Exchange. I want to first of all talk you through the terminology. So we have a dashboard, we have connectors, we have integrations, templates. These are the four buzzwords within Cloud Data Exchange. So let's first of all look at the dashboard. I've got a brand new system here. So as you can see on the right, I still have all my transactions remaining. This product is sold based on the transactional allowance or the transactional plan for the customer. The entry level point for Sage 200 is 20,000 transactions per month. Now, a transaction, I hear you say, what is a transaction? An order coming in from, say, Shopify or Amazon and hitting Sage 200. That is a transaction. Doesn't matter how many lines are on the order, that is a transaction. A stock item or many stock items going from, say, so say we're doing a stock level update, updating the stock levels on the website from Sage. Each stock item that we update is a transaction. So if we've got 1,000 transactions and we're updating all stock items, if we've got 1,000 stock items and we're updating all stock items on the website, that would be 1,000 transactions. We do, however, only update stock items that have changed compared to the level within Sage. So on occasion of those 1,000, it may only be 100. There are various levels of acquiring Cloud Data Exchange. Entry point, 20,000 transactions, then we go to 100,000 transactions, then 250, then 500,000. 250,000, then 500,000. So there's bags of scope. And for business partners, there is, if you take first line support, and I can add at this point, once the product's up and running, it's been tested, customer is happy, support is pretty light. So if business partners take on first line, you get 30% of the monthly subscription. It is a monthly subscription product payable by direct debit via you. So we would set up direct debit with you and you with your client. Services, currently we deliver all the services, but that will change as we progress through 2022. We will be having training sessions and setting Cloud Data Exchange up in sort of pigeonholes so that the business partner can log into Cloud Data Exchange and see their clients and help their clients set up integrations. We're not there yet. Today, as you log into Cloud Data Exchange, you see every customer. So that isn't possible within the channel yet, but that will happen through 2022. We're happy for you guys to also shadow our team when they deliver. So this is the dashboard, and it tells the client where they are, how much they've used. Obviously, if the used goes to orange, and they'll see the various ups and downs of transaction levels. Let's look at connectors. A connector is the widget that hooks onto the relevant platform. This isn't a Sage-focused product. This is a multi-platform product. We do have a connector for Sage 200. We know Sage 200 very well, as you know. We have a connector for Sage 50. We have a connector for Sage Business Accounting. We have a connector for 200 Standard. We use our API for Sage 200 Professional because it's functionally stronger than Sage's. But in standard, we have to use the Sage API. So there are differences in the ability of each of these systems. And each one is taken on its own merit. And all these things are highlighted during the demo. We always suggest that we have a review with your client online to show them Cloud Data Exchange before any purchase. Point to note here, every connector in here can connect to every connector in here. So we could connect a Sage 50 to a Sage 200 if it was a subsidiary company of a bigger group. We are in the process of implementing a 200 site to a 200 site. One is a customer, one is a supplier. But you can connect anything in here. We could connect Salesforce to 200, Salesforce to Sage 50, Salesforce to Shopify. We can connect anything in here to anything in here. Okay, so let's create a connector. As is normal in a demo, let's look at WooCommerce. So each connector has its own attributes, and we log in to that platform using the relevant details. I'm going to call this Eureka Sales Orders. So we hook on to the client's domain, whatever platform it may be. If it's Salesforce, if it's Amazon, they all have login details. We then put in the password, the token, the consumer key, anything that's required, and each connector has the right attributes to it to log in to the relevant platform. So we'll create that. And you'll see here, created today at 14:14. That's my connector to hook on to my WooCommerce or my WooCommerce site. I already have one created for Sage 200. So when the connector's created and hooked onto the relevant platform, then we make or build the integration. We look for our export connector. In this case, it's WooCommerce. And it's my Eureka Sales Orders there. Add that connector to the integration. I'm now looking for my import connector, which is Sage 200 Professional. And what Cloud Data Exchange is doing now, it is highlighting some templates that have in what we call the public zone, which allows me to perhaps have some defaults in an integration that I can use as a basis to grow the actual client integration. This is a very simple one. So on the left-hand side, we have the fields for WooCommerce. And on the right-hand side, we have the Sage field names. So what our guys actually do is map the fields from Woo. I'll just type a name in here. To the equivalent field in Sage. So over the past, we've learned a lot obviously we learned a lot with Data Exchange, but our dedicated team for Cloud Data Exchange have learned a bundle over the last 18 months. So they understand the best optimal fields from a platform to Sage. We obviously know Sage 200, we understand accounting, and now we understand the fields within the relevant platforms. There's some of the obscure ones that obviously we're still learning, but our core Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, VisualSoft are all becoming like a walk in the park, so to speak. So with integrations, our previous data exchange when integrating with Shopify or Amazon had to bring all the orders into a bucket a sales ledger account, i.e. the Shopify account, and so that they could highlight and process the orders through the one account. Cloud Data Exchange allows you to do both. We can bring orders in on a business-to-business website and post them straight to the customer account. We can also bring them into a default account, as you can see what this integration's for. These are all going to go to Woo 001, or I could change this, or we could make it do something different. It's more flexible than Data Exchange was. It is nicer to look at, easier for the customer. And eventually, when we get to the stage when we are able to have the business partners manage their own customers, then you come in here and create the mapping and obviously make your day rate. That's ultimately the plan. The more people that are selling this and implementing this, the more we get out the shelf. So we can also set up notifications so that when Data Exchange does its thing, it will inform somebody, inform a client. I'm going to go up to scheduling. So we have flexible scheduling. We can keep it simple and go incremental from every 5 minutes up to once a day. Or we can have specifics and say on a Monday, I want you to do it at this time and this time. And on a Tuesday, I want you to do it at that time and that time. So it will allow us to set up a schedule. We switch the integration on and we save the integration and we come out of here. So there's the integration that we've created. So this is where we can edit the integration, or in time, the business partner will be able to edit the integration. We could switch the integration off if maybe the client hasn't paid their bill. One point on that, because it's a monthly transaction, if the client gets to 90% of their transaction allowance, the system will send them an email. It will send and say, please contact your business partner or please contact Eureka. If it's contact Eureka, then we'll contact you. It will do exactly the same at 100%. So it gives the client two chances to make either an upgrade or switch the integration off or similar. And when it gets to 110%, they automatically switch off. So at that point, as we've noted on many occasions, they phone up and say, I'm not getting my orders in, that sort of idea. So eventually we switch it back on, they paid the bill and everything's sweet. So we switch the integration on, we can run it manually by clicking there. We can change the export filter date. We can look retrospectively and bring orders in from a different date. Who's created the integration? This piece is for our development team to add additional development work. There are on occasion businesses who want specifics. For an integration, only want something to happen at a specific status point within an order or something similar. So we can add additional development to certain connectors. We can change notifications and we can change the schedule. We have a log here, and there's my orders from the web. It's a demo system. And we have the field guide, which is when I do a demo, I always check that everything that the client's asking for, we're able to do. There's that many connectors, it's difficult to remember everything. So if we look at the WooCommerce connector, so this is what we do for WooCommerce. So you think of them as independent connectors and don't think of Sage. We can export customers from WooCommerce, export products, and export orders. We can import an order update. That would be a status update for Sage, like it's been dispatched. So we send that back to Woo so the customer can see it's been dispatched. Customers, products, and orders imported into WooCommerce. If we look at Sage 200, we can import all these. Our aim is to get everything we have in Data Exchange to happen in here. It's obviously, we've got 12 years development in Data Exchange, so there's a bit of work to do. Generally, from e-commerce sites, it's orders in to either a default sales ledger account, or it's orders in to a specific customer. So with the mapping, we can take the customer ID in Shopify and in Woo and in Magento and map that to the customer code in Sage, so the order goes straight to the customer. Generally, it's then stock levels going back to the website because they sell on multiple platforms. So they've raised purchase orders, which would update stock, sales orders over the phone and email. So that would downdate stock, and we send stock levels across. Some people want customers created, so where we create the customer from the website. Some people want it going the other way. Every site is different in how they operate, but we seem to manage, I would suggest, all. Some with development and some out the box, with all different kinds of business. I'm just going to go back to the dashboard or back to connectors. So I'd like to highlight a few points here, the core differences between Data Exchange and Cloud Data Exchange. So Cloud Data Exchange is focused on APIs. However, we can still pick up a CSV from an SFTP, an FTP, or an SMT on another kind of platform that I forget. So we can still pick up in the same format files that are created for Data Exchange. We've enabled so that the CSV files we can bring in are of the same format as the on-premise Data Exchange. We do not bring in XML at the moment, and as you can see, Data Exchange does. But currently we're API focused in CDE, but it can from an FTP or an SFTP or an FTPSE. CDE is a true cloud solution and a service. So it doesn't hinder any service on their server. We do install a web service or an API into the server for Sage 200 to get access to the outside world. For that's 200 Professional. But apart from that, there is no local integration program installed. Okay, it doesn't matter how many connectors the client has. So we could have a customer, they might have one Sage 200 company with 20 websites. They might have Amazon UK, Amazon Japan, Amazon Europe, Amazon America. They might have all these various sites, and they all come in independently of each other. There is obviously the cost to deliver it is more because we're doing more work to connect to these different platforms. But if they're within the 20,000 transaction allowance, there is no additional cost. It's only when they go over that 20,000 and they go to 100,000, which goes from 200 to 400. So they double the money, but they get 5 times the amount of transactions. Cloud Data Exchange has become our preferred integration solution. It has a roadmap. We have a dedicated team of developers to enhance the product going forward. We have a dedicated team of implementers. Our support team at Eureka are becoming more and more knowledgeable. It doesn't mean to say that data exchange on-premise is dead. It isn't. We sell just as many data exchange on-premise as we do cloud. Data exchange on-premise is still a viable product. And if you know that product well and it's for you, then that's great. It does local updates. It does local integrations where cloud data exchange, everything is in the cloud. So everything is up there. It can't pick data files up from a local server or a local PC. Everything must be in the cloud or on an FTP. Where CDE, you can manually do it yourself and pop a nice file into a folder and import into 200 or export out of 200. So that feature, obviously not there, as it's just been highlighted there. The security for cloud data exchange is second to none. Firstly, on the Google App Engine, it encrypts the data going from one connector to another. We also have two-factor authentication within the system to keep it secure locally. Data exchange has no security whatsoever. CDE we will add connectors to the platform as and when. We have the connectors that are in there now. Somebody has paid for along the way. Once written, we add them to the portfolio so everyone else gets the use or the ability to use those connectors. And if someone comes along and says, I want to connect to Wayfair, I'm just saying that one because I know we've quoted that recently. I want to connect to Wayfair, then unfortunately they have to pay for it, or pay for that development, but we will add it to the platform for others. So it's a shared platform of development. Cloud Data Exchange can handle much larger data files than Data Exchange. Data Exchange is still a powerful tool, still does handle large chunks of data, but CDE can handle much larger data, as noted with one of our NetSuite sites. Cloud Data Exchange is a subscription product. In the UK, we have a monthly subscription solution. In Ireland, it is an annual subscription in Ireland. So really that is Cloud Data Exchange. An exciting product for us. It is going global. It is going to be rebranded at one point during 2022. And it is going to integrate with more and more platforms as it grows. I'd love to bring you on the journey.